curious to see if anybody else is awake at this hour. So it's about 10 to 4 a.m. I've been up here for about 45 minutes or so. Just trying to get some stuff done on a Friday morning, early Friday morning before chaos. I do that. Not a lot. I don't want to say I do it a lot, but that's not a good one. Sometimes they taste weird. Could be that I'm a little bit stuffy. But yeah, so up here early and try to get some admin stuff knocked out before the shop opens and the guys get here and the customers are walking in and turns into, chaos. So try to get some admin crap done. I was thinking about that. I was like, I'm just going to go live. I got caught up. I'll knock out a video real quick. Bless me with a free rig. I get that request a lot, dude. We've gave away 2 free rigs this year already, so I'm kind of at my limit. We gave away a mini skid and a big decked out Gen 2. So the question on my brain is, or the topic is, that one just don't taste right. Yeah, Nathan, I'm going to try, guys, to not get too distracted by the chat, but I'll answer you real quick. We do ship products to Australia, and we're working on a vendor, an Australian-based vendor, which is Australia Softwash. So holler at those guys and let them know that you're interested in them carrying our products. The guy's name there is Nick. Really great company. We like them a lot. So we're just trying to get them dialed into our wholesale channels and our network. And that way we can ship a whole bunch of stuff at once instead of onesies and twosies, and it's cheaper for you. And you're not paying shipping. You're just getting it from the dude that's already in Australia. So, but the topic that's on my brain is I don't work anymore, guys. So you know that dude, Nick Hopkins, good guy, good dude. Put a bug in his ear. Tell him to get us in his storefront there. So I don't work anymore. And when I say that, it's kind of tongue in cheek because I honestly work more than I ever have, but it's a different kind of work. And if you've got a background like me, and I'm assuming most of you guys on the channel are going to be similar kind of mindset. We grew up working, not scared of working. Hell, kind of like it. It's like I'll have a day off. This is in the past. I'll have a day off, and I would say when I work for other places, man, I'm looking forward to that day off. I ain't going to do nothing. You guys ever said something to that effect where you need a day off and you don't need the grass don't need mowing, the oil don't need changing, there's nothing around the house to do, and you're planning on doing nothing that day? You guys know the movie SWAT with, what's that dude's name? It's got Samuel L. Jackson in it. It's got, what's the other dude's name? Anyway, movie from early 2000s, SWAT. Pretty good movie. Like gun handling wise, pretty good movie. So there's a scene in there where they're all off for the day, and the one guy that's got the mustache, it shows like what they're all doing on their day off. It's kind of, there's black guys, a Mexican chick, there's white guy, there's Samuel L. Jackson's playing golf with his buddies. It just showed like what different types of dudes and people would do on their day off. Well, the white dude that had the wife and kids was like the typical white dude, and he's sitting in the chair with like an old 80s movie on, and he popped a Dr. Pepper, and then they all get paged out to a call, right? And they all got to go respond to the call. It was just kind of a cheesy movie, but I like SWAT. That is my mental image of what I would save up and think, man, I can't wait to get off, especially if I had a couple of days off, because I could knock my crap out on one day, and then I definitely have a day to do nothing, right? Is that how you guys would think? But here's what I would do is I'd get to that day and I'd wind up doing stuff. Like nobody was making me. I'd sit around the house for like an hour, maybe 2. I'd cut a movie on. I'd be like, bro, I'm going to sit here and watch The Outlaw Josie Wales, cuz I'm going to 24 hours of Eastwood. I'm just going to loot 007 movies all day. I ain't doing crap. And then I'd sit in there, and after like not even the first entire film, I'm ready to go do something. And so I've learned that I'm kind of wired that way, and I churned that way for a long time. When we started the company and went full time, no, bro, you can't call me, dude. No, man. Look, I appreciate that you want to call me, but when I get off of this live, I'm getting in the truck and headed straight to Virginia to help my brother move from Fort Bragg. And also, I don't talk to nobody on the phone. And I know that sounds like arrogant, like that bastard wouldn't talk to me on the phone. But I don't, because I'll go down the rabbit hole, and to talk to me costs like $2,000. So it's not that I wouldn't talk to you, dude. If I open that Pandora's box, like, I'll never not be talking to people on the phone. But I would be doing that, and I would be in that mode of working just sort of by default. Does that make sense? Where that was just, that's all I'm going to do is work. Like, it didn't even no work necessarily need to be done. It just, I got to work. Here we go. I'm going to have to go do this. I need to do that. And it wasn't anything that really need to be done. It was just, that was how I was wired. So the benefit of that mindset is a lot of guys, a lot of kids nowadays, a lot of younger people in their early 20s and teens, and even into their late 20s, they don't have that setting, and that's just kind of the default setting for a lot of us type of dudes. And so I think that's why we don't resonate with that generation, is because we see them as lazy, and they've got a different set of values. That quiet quitting thing, I ain't about that. Like, I just like getting it done, because if you don't, the day takes longer. So there's a disconnect there in those two generational gaps, where you too, brother. Hey, I don't know what time it is where you is, but it's 4 a.m. over here, dog. So I guess you on daytime time. But the benefit that comes with that program of running in your mind, right? You're just sort of a train. You're just like a steam engine that gets a lot of stuff done. Now, the negative side of that is, if you don't plug that into effective things and you're just kind of doing busy work, it doesn't really build anything of any value. You're just piddling. That's what we would call it here in Alabama. We would say we're piddling, and we're like master piddlers. We're be doing stuff, but it don't really ever build an empire. It don't really build a business. So what I started trying to do was take my time. For example, I could talk to people on the phone, and it's not wrong to do that, right? And that guy's, Nathan Hill's, probably a great dude. He's probably solid. But is that the best use of my time? And you have to start valuing like what you're doing and what moves the needle, because like I said, I'm up here at 3:30 to do some things that it's hard to get done during the daytime, because there's always something pulling you in a different direction. And a lot of those things absolutely don't move the needle for the business. And the bigger your business grows, you sort of got to, and this was the hardest transition for me, getting into 8-figure a year territory. We'll definitely be in 8 figures this year. We'll see how far it goes, but there's a spot in there somewhere around the like $3 million mark, annual 3 million, that you've got to learn to extract yourself from the business and get a overview, a bird's eye, where you can look down and start working on your business and not in your business. And that's like a cliched thing, work on your business, not in your business. Well, what does that mean? And why is it important? And the biggest problem I had was thinking that was okay, because the wiring in me is to do the work, right? To do the work. And that's how we think that adds value. I did a video a couple months ago where we had a big UPS day, and I set my camera up and I loaded the UPS truck myself. And I did that on purpose. Number one is because I time lapsed and it looked really cool, because we sent so much freight out that day. It was like an impressive load out that day. But I did it. I didn't film my guys doing it. And that video had a ton of comments from folks. And I want you to think, like, do you think this way? Because I think this way. I've had to train myself to think differently. But lots of guys were in the comments like, look at that. That's the man, the owner out there working. And it is good to work. But we'll take that and make that the only thing that adds value. I don't work really during the day. Like, and it feels weird. It does. It feels freaking weird. I'll come up here at like 10. Some days I'm up here at 8:30. Today I'm up here at 3:30, right? Well, my guys don't even know that. They don't know the nights that I stay till, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, or the mornings that I'm up here at 2 and 3 a.m. because there's something project-wise, big stuff to do. I'm not putting a skid together or packing up boxes. Not that I wouldn't do that. Like I would not do that, but that's not what's going to move the needle the biggest. But I think the biggest hurdle that I'm just talking about my personal mindset, is all of the problems that come with that level of business require somebody to jump over and tackle those problems. And those problems, when you're working on them, to us kind of dudes, they don't look like work. The kind of dudes that carry a pocket knife, okay? You got a pocket knife in your pocket? The kind of dudes that drive like a pickup truck and actually use it. The kind of guys that have a toolbox on the pickup truck and there's like tools and shit in there. Okay, you get my vein, the guy like our kind of dude. We're kind of blue collary, but we also like making money, It's sort of entrepreneurial blue collar, right? We're not just satisfied with clocking in every day and dying on the job. But we've got those skills. We've got the trades skills, calluses in the right places. But here's the problem. We'll get romantic just about that thing because that's an easy thing to do. We can go out and work, and that's all we know to do is just saddle up and do the work, and that's great. But there's a point where you've got to be okay with detaching from that and walking around up here. And I don't think my employees think this about me, but I really don't care if they did. It would just be them not understanding. That's what it would be. Well, he don't even work. No, I don't work like that. I can outwork you, but that's not what I'm for. That's not my role, right? And if I'm doing my role correctly, you want me doing my role correctly because somebody has to do it. But I'm just telling you how I perceived it. Most of our type dudes, we look at that type work and we crap on it. Okay. Think about if you've ever worked in a plant, in a facility, nobody on the floor respects anybody in the office. There's this dividing wall of the people on the floor, right? Working. You got the working people on the floor. I always felt like there was like 3-4 categories. You got the working people on the production side. Then we had the maintenance guys. I always resonated with them. Okay, the maintenance guys, right? Those good, cool guys. You can go hang out with them. They make a little more money. They're not production. They're not getting paid to ding, 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 make a widget all day. They're skilled. They can weld. They can do PLC stuff. They're kind of electrical guy. We had maintenance guys. They're making $80,000, $90,000 a year. And they kind of walk differently in the building. Like, oh, he's kind of important because he's the maintenance. I'm not talking about like janitor maintenance. I'm talking about industrial maintenance, lead tech. These guys are skilled labor. But there was always a disconnect between production staff, that's entry level, widget maker, maintenance guy, okay, middle management guy. A lot of the middle management guys, they carried respect because they came from the production floor or they came from maintenance and they got farmed into a middle management position. But those dudes, every place I ever worked at, they either resonated with the employee side or they resonated with the upper management side, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. They were either like all the employees liked them, but they weren't really beneficial to the management team. There's always a divide. It's like we had a GM, an AGM, and an ops staff up under them, and then managers up under them, and then employees up under them, like 1,000, and then maintenance dudes kind of in the tertiary doing their thing. And so there's always this little, where in your mind do you think is cool and is a waste of time? Most people on the floor would go by they wouldn't say it, but their brain would say those dudes is all they do sit in that damn office. That's all they don't do. They just sit in that damn office. Yeah, they do, but their job, I promise you is more stressful than the dude that's just out there making widgets. Like he just has to hit his production number and his quality number, right? But our type of guy that gets into this industry, usually they have that mindset where they're a workhorse, but they're a dumb horse. They're just dumb, but they're like salt of the earth, and they'll just put the work in. But here's where the magic happens: is if you have that programming, but you can jump over here and grab some of the management skills. That's where the things, if you're in your own business, that's where the magic happens, because you've got to have both. And you've got to be okay with not going to work every day. I probably don't work, 15 hours a week. And it feels weird. Like it's still a thing in my programming where I'm still squaring that's not only is it okay, it's actually necessary and meaningful and important, actually more important than the worker. See, that don't resonate with communist bullshit talk. Well, we built this company. No, you ain't built a damn thing. You work here, right? I built it. Now, you've got a good job, and I pay my guys well, and we respect each other, and I love my guys. Like, dude, take care of my dudes. We're all buddies. Like, we'll load up. We'll get caught up. We'll load up. We'll go out to eat. We'll go to a nice steakhouse. We'll go to the boot store. Everybody get you a pair of boots. I don't care how much they are. Get you a $350 pair of boots. Whatever you want to get. Take care of yourself. Swipe the company card. Let's go back to the house. We'll just load them up and go bass fishing sometimes if we're caught up. My guys know that it's not from a place of arrogance. It's not. It's from a place of positioning and necessity. Because who's harder to replace, them or me? Me. I'm impossible to replace. And you have to walk that way and look to the outside world. That may sound arrogant and cocky and they don't understand it. And it's not like I'm just saying I'm like special. It's just that I have put in the work to understand the business from that perspective. And that is so rare to be able to do those things and to hit $1 million months in the business. I'm not saying some of my other guys couldn't be trained or couldn't figure out how to do it. They probably could, but they haven't took that risk. They haven't took the gamble. Maybe they don't want to do that. And that is absolutely fine. Hell, it's probably smarter, but to the guy that took the risk, the guy that put in the investment, the guy that's willing to be here at 3 a.m. if it needs to be done, at 11 o'clock at night if it needs to be done, that guy gets to sit in the office. I got a nice office. I'll show you guys. We just finished it. All right, check this out. We just finished it up about a month ago. It's pretty slick in here. But here's the deal. Check this out. I didn't have an office at all for the first 5 years. No office. I had other people that had offices because they needed them more than I needed my office. This is just like a luxury for me, and I need one, but I didn't need one that bad. So if you put in the work, here's what I'm saying. If you put in the work and you put in the work up here, then don't be ashamed or afraid to cash in on that when the time comes that you get to throttle back on the physical labor side. Because here's the deal. You got to throttle up on the mental side, man. Like if you got team members, bro, the first day of every month, I've got to know how to come up with 6 figures of payroll. 6 figures of payroll has to be achieved sometime in this month to make everybody's paycheck. And that ain't nothing compared to some companies. Some companies have that weekly. But it is not easy. I will tell you that. It ain't easy. So don't get romantic. My whole spiel this morning, it's 19 minutes, so we're going to call it, right? I won't make it too long. But my whole spiel this morning is, number one, don't be afraid of the work, okay? If you're a younger person, look, I'm telling you, the liberals done lied to you. You got to do some work, okay? You just going to have to do some work. And the cool thing is if you just man up and go do it, it ain't that bad. But number two, don't just get romantic about that and think that's your whole identity and that anything outside of that is bad and you're lazy and white collar people. Or that's one reason why I hate the rich men north of Richmond vibe out of that song. It's because it's polarizing your brain. This other song you just did, Oliver Anthony Cat, like a week ago, is "You don't need a rich man to go." See what he's doing? It's not him, but what that type of thinking does is it sticks you in the blue collar box and it puts the rich people in the rich people box. And nary shall the twain meet, and we hate them, but we secretly wish we could find a winning lottery ticket at the same time. Well, what is that? You can't see it. It's America, bro. You can be rich. You can go watch Mike Rowe's channel. There's dudes on there that made millions running a dump truck business. Not everybody that got money or built a successful business is an evil business person. No. But if you think that, how are you going to ever achieve that if you think it's bad to strive to be that? It ain't bad. I ain't got no interest in riding around in a polo and playing golf and going to eat caviar, but I do like to have a lot of money. I like to do whatever I want to do with it. I do blue collar cool stuff with the money, whatever it is that blows your skirt up. But you can't hold that belief that, rich, bad, poor, good, og. No, dude. No, that's programming, man. Don't even talk like that. Don't even entertain those thoughts, because what you're doing is you're locking your brain into, I can only turn these wrenches. I can only wash. We get crap online from these little jackass channels. They're old fat dudes. And this is their shtick, to talk crap about, us and Mike and Justin and Aaron and the Core Four. Those guys don't even wash. Boy, they hate Mike Badan. He doesn't even wash. No, Mike owns a power washing company. Mike's got guys out in the field running the truck. I've met them. Okay, they're out there. They're working, and Mike sits in his office and schedules. He doesn't even wash. With a big old fat neck. Dude, neck that big around. He got 18 views on YouTube, but he's on YouTube. Can't figure it out. Be crapping on Mike but see, where's that come from? It comes from him thinking that just the physical work part's the only part that's noble or good to shoot for. Mike ain't scared to go work. Mike's working harder, I guarantee you. Mike is putting in more time, and he's more stressed, and he's got more on the chopping block than the dude that's working for him that just gets to clock in and out. And if you guys are running your own business, then you know what I'm talking about. There's days where you think, piss, it was easier when I just got to come up here and work and leave. Yeah, but that ain't the case anymore. So don't be tempted to get romantic about the work part, which is fun, but don't get locked in that that's the only thing that carries weight. There is weight over here. And this part's necessary. The white collar, the managerial aspect, the systems, building systems in your business, figuring out where the next problem's at, figuring out like, hey, what do I need to be working on right now, not working in right now? It's not only okay, it's necessary, and you better do it. There's nobody going to jump in and like fix your business for you. It's just not going to happen. We got to do those things as business owners. And it's not the easy stuff. It ain't hard, but it's a lot of that stuff. The hard part of it is we don't live in that world. We don't live in the world of marketing. We don't live in the world of systems. We don't live in the world of HR. We don't live in the world of setting up paid time off. We don't live in the world of all the things, production management software, right? We don't live there. We live in wrench turning land. We got to extract our brain a little bit, do the wrench turning, do it so good that you can hire other people to do it, train them, and then free your brain up. And don't just go sit around the house, but go turn your turret to the next target. And that's a special skill, is to just be able to see what the next thing you need to be shooting at is. There's so many guys that just, man, they'll put in, go look at their channels. Go look at their channels. Man, I tell you what, man, I'm 62 years old. Ding. And I've been working out here on this truck. I've been running my truck 42 years. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come November, be 43. 43 years I've been on this truck. And all these young whippersnappers out there, you guys taking advice from them, and they don't even wash. Hell, they don't even get out in there and do no work. Well, no shit. That was the point. That was the point. Okay, I can do the thing. If I didn't know how, I wouldn't be this successful. Well, that's not the point. So you'll get sucked down in there, and you'll get anchored to that as like that's the noble part of the business. It's a necessary part of the business, but so is sitting in an office, a nice one with an air unit blowing cold air right on top of my head and keeping the wheels turning. Keeping the wheels turning. You have to come over to Australia. I've met Paul from Power Wash Store. Yeah, you talking about Paul Cassander. Yeah, they're over in Australia. I ain't a big Power Wash Store fan. Like, I don't know anybody there. And a few times I've had to buy stuff from them, they're just kind of like, I think they're just big, and they're kind of a big machine. But I don't have any like ill will towards them. I know other players in the industry really well, and I don't know any of those guys. So, but here's what I will tell you. Paul Cassander's white ass ain't out there running a wash truck. And I don't know what Power Wash Store as a company is worth. Like, I don't jive with them. I don't like there's a couple of their store locations that I do like. The people that run those individual stores are pretty cool, but I don't jive with them. Okay. But I also, like, I don't have no beef with them. I just don't jive with them. It's fine. But here's what I can tell you. That company as a whole got pretty high valuation, and they're pretty damn smart. And Paul is like the founder dude. He didn't get there by running a damn wash truck every day. Well, you're anti-work. No, that's all I'm saying. I'm saying he started there at some point, and he knew the ins and outs of that, and then he kept building on that to where he's built a thing, right? Henry Ford didn't sit on the assembly line and build Model Ts. You got to get in your business, guys. If you're ready to get off the truck, don't feel bad about that, man. That's okay. And it's risky. I guess it's much less risky to just run one truck. It's risky to scale, to grow. It's like super risky, because if you fail in your one truck, what does that even mean? Like, you can just crank the truck back up tomorrow and go do another job. You almost can't be killed unless you have like a wreck and total your rig and you didn't have insurance, something like that happens. But just when you grow, there's a lot more risk, which comes with a lot more of this kind of work, strategizing, thinking, looking at what your competitors are doing, product innovation. I got my patent drawing over there for the batch buster. I'm fixing to have my patent drawing here for the super pump. See, I wasn't just smoking cigars and playing on the golf. I was smoking cigars, but I wasn't just doing that. I wasn't just on the golf course the last 2 years that I wasn't down there turning wrenches. I was putting in the mental energy, like all the mental energy to just, what does the company need to look like? Like, how do we need to function? What are we going to do about all of these problems? Like, okay, we could do this, we could do this, we could do this. Because there's been years that we just were dumb and we just like what's up, Perez? We just dug the ditch. We got 200 yards of ditch and a pickaxe. And my country programming is just like, all right, saddle up, pink, pink, pink. Whereas the other way to think is, look, put the pickaxe down. Let's go to the equipment rental place. Let's rent an excavator, a ditch witch, and we'll be done with this, by tomorrow morning. Well, we can't do that. I gotta be working. You're asking me to stop being unproductive. I'm working, man. You bothering me. We'll think that, well, yeah, it takes a little time to go to the thing. Well, you gotta we'll come up with all these. Man, you got to get diesel. You got to insure it. You got to clean it up before you take it back. You got to, man, what if I don't even know how to run the thing? Ain't never run. We'll come up with all kind of reasons to not be efficient. We got it. We just dig it. Look, by the time you go and get that, we've been done dug it. No, you ain't. You ain't out running the excavator. But we get romantic about the work. That's what I'm saying, is we just get romantic about it. We think that that's where all the value is. No, that's where a lot of the value is. In the early days, that's where most of the value is. But as you start making money, guys, as you start churning, look at your business from a zoomed out. It's hard to do, dude. I think the seeing it part, zooming out and seeing it, is actually more difficult than doing the fixes. Once you see it, you just kind of like, oh, okay, well, I could try this, this, and this. But it's the seeing it. You get so zoomed into the problem, you can't see nothing but that. And then somebody comes along and is doing it different. You're like, I'm an idiot. Why didn't I just do X? Some of that stuff is like life-changing events. That's why it's good to go network around other people that are not your buddies. Okay. They're doing more than you're doing, because that means they've unlocked more cheat codes to get to where they're at. So if you're washing, here's what I would do. This will be a great kind of thing to look at doing. Let's say you're in, Perez is in Florida. Like, he probably don't need it, but pick a guy, pick a town. Okay. We got a dude in Huntsville, Alabama, and he's running a truck and he's making $250,000 a year, and he wants to grow that. He's in year 2, year 3. He wants to grow that, and he wants to be careful and do it the right way. What would you do? I'd pick up the phone. I would go to Houston, Texas. I'd go to Atlanta, Georgia, Orlando. I'd pick me about 6 or 7 locations around the country that were not in my market, and I'd call them and see if I could get the owner on the phone of dudes that were running 4 or 5 trucks. And I would say, hey, man, I know this is weird. I got a quick question. I'm a fellow pressure washing guy. I got a rig. We're in this city. We're nowhere near you, and that's why I'm calling you, because I'm not your competition. Have nowhere even close. I want to see if I can pay you to come shadow you for 2 days and just look at the systems that you've got in place as far as growing that side of the business, because I'm really dumb in that area, and it looks like you guys have got it figured out. And offer the dude $2,500 to go hang out with him for 2 days or a day or whatever it is, right? And you're not going to go watch the trucks run. You're going to go watch how his office runs, how he quotes leads, how he generates leads, how he closes deals, how he does his bookkeeping, how he does his scheduling, how his employees, are they using what are they using? Quote IQ, or how do they clock in? Like all the little thingies, right? The little widgets that he's got running. And look, you may call 10 dudes before you get a yes, and you may go to that guy and he may be an idiot. He just may be such a workhorse that he's worked really hard and he actually doesn't have any systems. So you may waste $2,500 and you may have to go do it again. Offer him $1,000 or whatever it is. That would be smart. That would behoove to do that, because that guy ain't got no reason not to tell you. You're not in his market. You're not competition. He's getting basically free money to go show you a few ropes. What's the worst thing he can say? No. Because I can tell you there's been manufacturing things that I've learned just by like the luck of being around another person that was in a kind of similar. And I was like, oh, we're stealing that. It ain't going to hurt them. It's just a way of doing things. So we copy, we paste, we make it our own. And then a year later, we're like, how the hell were we not doing this before? Just like, so it's so second nature at some point. But you look back and you remember, no, there was a time we didn't have this tool. We didn't have this knowledge. You ain't going to ever get that if you're going to die on the truck. That's where all the nobility's at, dying on the truck. I got to go, guys. Hope you have a great day. It's a Friday. Listen, go out there, make some money today. Be tactical and don't feel bad. Don't let yourself feel bad. Don't let anybody make you feel bad, because you're in the position you're at. If you're the business owner and you've grown it and you have the luxury of not working so hard physically anymore, that's great. Enjoy that, because what it means is you have the unluxury, if that's a word, of doing all the heavy lifting in your brain. And that's the hard part. Hope you guys are having a great Friday early morning. Appreciate you hanging out with me. Fixing to get on the road, man, and head to Virginia. Gonna go up to Fort Bragg. My brother's getting out of the Army. He's a special forces guy, but he's retiring. So we're gonna go up and get some of his last few things and get him moved back down to sweet home Alabama. Oh boy, here we go. I'm not gonna sing Super Pump Action. Perez, you know it, dog. I got one on the truck. Gonna be using it a little bit next week. Got some finalized R&D stuff done for the super pump. Really cool. Got that knob on the top. And then eventually we'll be able to do all that with our wash watch, which is going to be freaking sweet. Controlling that pump speed remotely, digitally, electronically with our wash watch. That's going to be pretty cool. We'll put another drawing on the board, baby. Wash watch right there. See you guys. Have a good Friday.